Good afternoon, everybody. Safa here from Football Heritage TV. The rumours, they will not disappear. Harry Maguire is being linked left, right and centre. Where has this come from? Where has this come from? I'm not seeing Romano report it or Ornstein, so at the moment, I'm quite comfortable. How are you feeling about it? Lots of people have started the hashtag say no to Maguire. Lots of people saying we can't have him. He's a fridge. He turns like the Titanic. Let's break it down. And I think the scrolling text should say it all. Harry Maguire to Spurs. No. I could have kept going with the O's, but I didn't. Let's break this down. Harry Maguire. What an up and down career this man has had. This man was a very highly regarded centre-half whilst at Leicester City, getting in PFA Teams of the Year. Got his big money move to Man United. I thought he was quite good at Leicester. I felt like it was, listen, when we're talking about people being worth 80 million, I think that's just ridiculous. For me, if you're worth 80 million, you're a top player. But he was a good defender. He was doing really well. He was doing the basics well and got his move. Fair play to him. Now, let's fast forward a few years. The man's got 55 England caps. He's won a trophy with Man United. He's been a runner-up with England in the Euros, a runner-up with Man United as well. If I'm runner-up, a UEFA Europa League runner-up with Man United as well. So he's got to finals. He's won some of them, lost some of them. He was also the UEFA Europa League squad of the season. He was Leicester City's player of the season in 2017-2018. He was in the European Championship team of the tournament. So why don't we want him? Why don't we want him? Let's try and break down a few reasons why not. Is he that bad, or is he a player that is painfully out of form? Is he a player that gets a lot of unnecessary stick because a bandwagon started rolling? Or is he just that bad? Now, let's have a look at some of the strengths of Harry Maguire before we go in and dig the guy out. I think it's really important to look at someone's strengths as well as their weaknesses. Strengths, I think he's very good in the air. I would trust Harry Maguire in the air. I would think not many centre-halves probably want that battle with him in the air. I think he will put his body on the line for you. I think he is a committed player. I think he will always give his best. Now, let's look at some of the negatives. For me, and one of the positives you could say is that he has captained Man United. I mean, he's captain Man United, so we can say that. Now let's look at the negatives. For me, it's the pace across the ground. He just simply hasn't got it. If I'm a centre forward, yes, I don't want to face him in the air, but do I want to face him on the ground, one-on-one, in a foot race? Absolutely. Even at my age, actually, forget that. Any centre forward in the Premier League with a bit of pace, you would fancy yourselves up against Maguire. You would, wouldn't you? You'd fancy that if you can get in behind him, there is not a chance that he can turn and catch you. Because on the half turn, he's very slow. He's a big guy. Now, that has its uses, and we'll come to that in a minute. We'll come to why that has its uses in a back three in a minute. But in a back four, if you are going to play Harry Maguire, you need to have a top centre-half that is quick, doesn't make mistakes, stays on his feet and can cover for him. You need a Rio Ferdinand next to that guy. Unfortunately, Tottenham Hotspur do not have that. Now, people are saying, okay, well, we need a partner for Romero, but Romero is the guy that needs his hand held, right? Romero is the one that needs a cool, calming influence. He is not the cool, calming influence. So that would never work. Maguire and Dyer just simply doesn't work. That would be awful. That would be my absolute nightmare of a centre-half pairing. So, other negatives, mistakes have crept into his game. Over the last few years, you're seeing more mistakes. I don't remember seeing them. If there were, Leicester City fans will tell me, and Man United fans will tell me, but I don't remember them being at the regularity that we saw at the beginning of last season and the season before. But is he a victim of not having a settled partner? Is he a victim of a media witch hunt? Lots of people think he is. For me, one thing I do know is we just can't have this in our back four. And let's be fair, Postecoglou plays a back four. I don't expect that to change. If he plays a back three, okay, but I don't expect that to be the case. I think he will go with his tried and tested 4-3-3. Now, if we put Harry Maguire into a back four with the other defenders that we have got, I can see that we would be ripped apart time and time and time again. Now, where Maguire would have been decent is the word I'm using, please, before everyone goes, oh my God, Sava wants Maguire. No, I don't. In Conte's formation, in the middle of a three is where Maguire would have been good, because you would have had Romero one side of him. You would have Maguire in the middle, who's the guy that does all the heading and the guy that's the muscle. Then you'd need another player to the left of him, like an Undercar. I know he's going to Roma. But in that scenario, when he's got two quick centre-backs that are good on the ball covering for him, you can get away with a Harry Maguire. But can you get away with it in a four? Now, I'll give you some examples to this. If you watch him for England, sorry, I'm just checking some stats, just really, really quickly. Sorry, people. If you look at him for England, he never looks as bad for England. And why doesn't he look as bad for England? Right? Why doesn't he look as bad? The reason he doesn't look as bad is because he plays in a free most of the time, with Walker to the right of him, John Stones to the left. And both of those are very good defenders to start with, but they're both very nimble on their feet, both quick, both can cover, especially Walker. So it doesn't put Maguire at the exposure or the risk that it does in a back four. All in all, this guy can't come to our club. We cannot start a new era with a new manager, a new director of football, a manager that likes to play football on the front foot and a higher line. We cannot start this process with Harry Maguire. And I think most people acknowledge that. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts. I've seen a few videos today, people losing their mind. I'm not going to lose my mind about it. I just don't think it should happen. I don't think that would send the right message. I think players can resurrect their careers. And for me, I think if he went to someone like an Everton or a West Ham, that would be a good move for them. I don't think for where we are in our building stage of the club's history, and this is very much a building stage from yesterday, from the moment Postecoglou got here or signed the contract. I know he's on holiday now. This is not right for Harry Maguire. The other player I just wanted to spend 60 seconds talking about was Matt O'Reilly. Now, Matt O'Reilly is at Celtic and is a player that is being linked to the Premier League. They're saying that 3 or 4 Premier League clubs want him, including Brighton. Now, this is a guy that I've always been quite impressed with. And he went from MK Dons to Celtic. Now, before we judge players from MK Dons, I seem to remember a player from MK Dons coming and doing really well at Spurs for a period of time. Of course, I'm talking about Dele Alli. Now, when I've seen Matt O'Reilly, I think he looked good, a nice, competent footballer, good passing. Last year, he had 15 goal contributions, 12 assists. The year before that, he got 7 goal contributions in his first 16 games for Celtic. So that's nearly 1 in 2. Would it be worth Spurs looking at someone like this? A name that goes under the radar? Would it be worth looking at that? For me, I really do think that a player like this wouldn't be the end of the world. He can play in a free. He can play off the front guys. A good footballer. Now, is that name going to be big enough to satisfy a lot of Spurs fans? I'm not sure. But for me, this is the type of scouting I want to see now. And let's face it, people, the fact that Brighton want him. When do Brighton scout bad players? Brighton do not scout bad players. And if they're going for him, could be a cheeky little shout. Let me know what you think. And I think what we've got to say is, I know we're going to get a lot of silliness of, oh, but he's only played in Scotland. Scotland, anyone can do it there. Lots of good players have played in Scotland. Lots of good players have played in Scotland, right? I can't just say that a player's played there so they can't do anything in the Premier League. I think, I see in this with the uneducated, silly fans, like I say, that go, oh, well, Gerrard did well in Scotland, so how could Postecoglou do it down here? So, well, First of all, Postecoglou's got 20 years experience or so, and Gerrard had like 1 year of management. So, you know, I apply that to players as well. If you're good enough, you'll make the move. So let me know your thoughts. Please like, please subscribe. We'll be live at 4 o'clock for an update transfer show. Please subscribe. We're only about 300 away from 6K now. We've been flying this month because we only 3 weeks ago turned to 5K. Let's get this to 6K by the end of this week if we can, the end of next week. Much love. Please let me know your thoughts. Please subscribe. Please like. See you soon. Take care.